If you've been watching this channel for more than a year, you'd know that I am a full-fledged degenerate. Like, just take a look at my channel profile picture, and it's obvious that I haven't touched grass since 2021. My favorite game literally has a cast of characters that are 99% girls and 99% of said girls are underage. And degenerates like me like to watch animes that are made for degenerates. And one of them is the anime we're gonna talk about today, Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. Now, I've been meaning to do this video ever since 2022. I actually created the thumbnail for this video all the way back on.
I'm having a heart attack.
And there's no better time to review a romance anime than several days before Valentine's Day. So shortly after I finished my Happy Sugar Life analysis video, I got sick. So to entertain myself, I decided to binge all 4 of the Toy Story movies and watch 2 animes. One of them was the well-acclaimed emotional romance movie, Your Name, which I had been wanting to watch but never had the time to do so. And the other was a comedy romance, Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. Now, the reason why I started watching Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out is actually quite a funny story. I had been seeing the Uzaki character all around the internet, and she kinda looked like that one girl from the quintessential quintuplets. So I thought it was funny, and watched it. And turns out, it was better than the quintessential quintuplets. Hell, Your Name is 100% better than Uzaki-chan, but I think the relationship between the 2 protagonists were portrayed better in Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. One of the reasons why I want to make this video is because people don't like the anime. Apparently, they think that Uzaki's body type doesn't exist IRL.
No.
And not only that, but people think that this anime is boring and has no depths to it. I totally respect your opinion and understand why some of you might think that way, but I totally disagree. So without further blabbing, let's get straight into defending Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. Yup, my last statement was an absolute lie. We aren't going straight into defending this anime. Even though Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out is a really entertaining anime, if you actually start to slowly analyze it, it becomes objectively bad. My biggest problem with the anime is the unnecessary characters. Like, even when I turn off my brain to watch Uzaki-chan, the characters still kinda bug me. These 2 people, whom I can't remember their names, they're hella annoying. Sometimes these 2 can be really funny and entertaining. However, most of the time they become these stupid obstacles for Uzaki and Sakurai, which is absolutely tedious to watch. It's honestly no surprise why the first episode is one of my favorites, because these 2 chuckle f***s aren't introduced yet. And also don't get me started on that hideous looking cat who's somehow the mascot of the anime. Seriously, this cat pisses me off on so many levels because of how utterly useless its existence is to the overall plot. Now, I absolutely despise this cat because firstly,
I'm not a cat person.
Secondly, this cat is just downright ugly. And it's not like all cats in this anime look as hideous as the Kuso cat. I know this because Hana Uzaki has cats that are actually cute and not ugly. Like, if you're gonna make a mascot for something, could you not make it ugly? And lastly, the cat serves 0 purpose. This f***ing cat pops up all over the show and pretty much halts the pacing of the anime and wastes my time. And the cat isn't even funny, not even in the slightest. The Kuso cat's whole gag is literally staring at the 2 protagonists if they do something weird. Yeah, I hate to break it to you, but that ain't comedy. Even in the first f***ing episode, I already hated the cat. And I'm not the only one who thinks the Kuso cat is useless. I saw a Reddit post once asking what was the point of its existence. And basically, people say that it's meant to be a self-insert. If that's the case, this must be one of the shittiest self-inserts I've ever seen. Let's compare the Kuso cat to a good self-insert, like Temmie from Undertale. Now, Temmie is a self-insert of Temmie-chan, and is quite similar to the cat because both are meant to be joke characters. Temmie works because the character is very useful to the player despite being a joke. She is the only character whom you can sell your items to. Plus her dialogue is also quite funny. But oh well, at least the Kuso cat isn't as annoying as the Velma self-insert, so I digress. Speaking of ugly characters, the character designs in this are so bland. Not only do these two jokers look plain as hell, and not only is the cat the most ugly thing in existence, but the two main characters aren't all that well designed either. The Sakurai guy is supposed to be this handsome and charming guy. But like, he's really not. The only good-looking part about him is his physique, and even so his muscles are covered up by his clothes, so is there a point. And also Hana Uzaki. She has a really unique, fun design, and I would argue that she looks better than Ichika from the quintessential quintuplets. However, you can tell that this anime tries so hard to make it seem like Uzaki is waifu of the century, especially with her over-exaggerated proportions, which no. I personally feel like Hana Uzaki would be a bottom-tier waifu compared to other characters in romance animes such as Nagatoro, that one blind girl who keeps forgetting her glasses, Komi, and every girl from Blue Archive. And also, why does Uzaki's sister look like Suzy from Deltarune Chapter 1? But the grandpa's design is alright though, so it's all good, man. The next problem is the comedy of the anime. I personally feel like Uzaki-chan's jokes and writing can be quite cringe sometimes, which isn't fun. There are a lot of jokes that could be funny, but the joke is so sexualized that it becomes more disgusting than funny. This especially applies to the jokes with Hana's mom in it. Don't get me wrong, Hana's mom is a really likable character, it's just that the jokes involving her are infuriating to watch. This is because her gag is basically misunderstanding the relationship between Uzaki and Sakurai, which isn't funny in any way. It's quite gross, all things considered. And even if the anime has a joke that isn't dirty, it's a boring and lame joke that has already been done a million times in other romance animes. But the jokes with the grandpa were alright though, so it's all good, man. And here's the thing, the jokes in the anime were funny and iconic at first, but they slowly got boring as the series progressed. This is why all the clips I could find on YouTube of Uzaki-chan were all in the first 6 episodes, because the anime gets worse as it progresses. Actually, this leads me to my last problem. Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out gets boring and uninspired as the show progresses. Like as the series progresses, Uzaki and Sakurai would rarely hang out, and instead, it would focus more on their own struggles. This anime is literally called Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. I watched this anime to see people hang out because I've no friends to hang out with. But now, I have to deal with these unfunny scenes between Uzaki and her family arguing. That's not entertaining, because I watched this anime to see what hanging out with friends is like, not to watch a family fighting. And the continuity just doesn't work. Remember how at the start of the series, there was this thing involving Uzaki's book? It appeared everywhere, and it was as if the writers were foreshadowing that the book would play an important role in later episodes. But no, it was only a one-time gag that wasn't funny. And then in the second part of the season, the book's existence was completely ignored. I only remembered the book existing after doing research for this episode. Of course, this isn't Love Live Superstar, or Jashin-chan dropkick levels of downgrade in quality, but it's still bad either way. The grandpa was consistently funny though, so it's all good, man. Yeah, it's safe to say that Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out is objectively a bad anime. However, for every wrong thing this series gets, it gets another thing right. With that being said, let's move on to firstly, the animation. Solid. You know what really stands out about Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out's animation? The background designs. One of the reasons why this anime really shines when Uzaki and Sakurai are hanging out is because of the different places they go to. The environment is just so soothing and vibrant. Maybe it's just my personal bias towards cityscape backgrounds in anime, but this anime can be really gorgeous at times. Anyway, remember how I said that Uzaki's design was average? Well, that doesn't matter, because she also has some really well animated expressions. It's honestly no surprise why some of the expressions I use are from Hana Uzaki. I love expressive characters, yeah. You know what else works for me? The soundtrack. The soundtrack is really nice because it has leitmotifs. I think some of you know that leitmotifs are my biggest weakness, especially since most animes don't have those. So it's a really pleasant surprise that Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out has leitmotifs. For example, the song could have the same melody, but the feelings it evokes are different. This especially applies to the song, A Charming Moment. The song has the same melody as the rest of the Uzaki-chan soundtrack, but it's a slower and calming version of it that changes the tone and feel of the situation and really hammers it down that scene is indeed a charming moment. On the topic of the soundtrack, the ending songs for both seasons are quite nice to listen to. Don't get me wrong, the openings are nice too, but the end credits songs are just on a whole other level. Both Kokoro Knock and Happy Life are really calming and soothing to listen to. The opening songs are good too, but they just aren't as memorable as other anime opening songs like or But overall, the soundtrack is pretty good. You know what else is pretty good? Uzaki-chan's voice acting. Actually, scratch that, Uzaki-chan's voice acting is phenomenal. Specifically the Japanese version. I don't know anything about the English dub. But yeah, Hana Uzaki's voice is something special. She can dramatically change her voice to be very energetic to extremely scary very easily. Her sudden tone of voice changing really adds to the comedy of the anime. And her laugh is super contagious. Easily one of my favorite anime voice actings. On the topic of Hana Uzaki, although her family isn't very fun to watch, they at least have a believable relationship. They tease and argue with each other, but at the end of the day, at least you know they come from a place of genuine concern. To put it simply, it's a much better portrayal of family relationships than Demon Slayer. Tanjiro gives too much shits about his sister, and it makes him look like a crybaby and makes me despise Nezuko. Also, did I mention how much I hate Demon Slayer's humor? The slapstick is incredibly childish and annoying. Speaking of humor, Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out has better humor. Although most jokes don't land, when there's a joke that lands, it lands hard. There's a reason why some of these clips of Uzaki are so iconic. Actually, this leads to the biggest reason why I like this anime, it's just consistently entertaining. There isn't an episode that is completely boring. Every episode, despite how unabashedly bonkers and not too good it is, keeps me entertained throughout its runtime. A piece of media doesn't have to tell a spectacular story to be entertaining, and this anime is the best example of that. The most entertaining part of the anime has to be Sakurai and Uzaki's relationship. It is very well written and believable. Their bond feels natural, the romance doesn't feel too forced, and everything just goes with the flow. I think the easiest way to describe it is that their relationship is wholesome. Despite how much challenges both face or how much they tease each other, they still care for one another and want to make each other happy. So yeah, despite everything, I still really like Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out because I'm just never bored watching it. Nah, I'm kidding, we haven't talked about that grandpa guy yet. That's a joke. Akihito is an alright character. So it's all good. I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's get to the main reason why I made this video, and the best part of the anime in my opinion. Before I started writing this video, I watched several review videos on Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. You know, to see other people's opinions on the show. However, none of these videos ever talked about Uzaki-chan's message. Heck, I've never seen anyone even mentioning this anime having a message, which is kinda sad because I think it's really deep and mature. But at the same time, I kinda don't blame them because unlike most animes, the message is pretty hidden, and it actually took me quite a while to realize the message's existence. So, allow me to explain to you what it is. In Season 1 Episode 7, Uzaki-chan goes out with Sakurai to celebrate her birthday. They do some funny stuff together and then they both get hella drunk, so drunk that the next day Uzaki gets a hangover and throws up on Sakurai's mattress. In the next episode, Uzaki feels bad for vomiting all over Sakurai's mattress, so she stops being as energetic as she usually is. This concerns Sakurai and his co-workers, so both Amy and Akihito give him some advice. Amy suggests to give Uzaki a shit ton of compliments and says that should make Uzaki energetic again. Actually, I think suggesting isn't the right word, it's more like aggressively explaining. This leads to two pretty funny jokes, not gonna lie. Anyway, Sakurai takes Amy's advice and invites Uzaki to the festival. After a wholesome montage of Sakurai and Uzaki doing some activities in the festival, Sakurai proceeds to compliment Uzaki's nice trip. And the whole compliment thing actually works. Wow, Amy is useful, except Sakurai compliments Uzaki too much that she gets embarrassed and knocks the shit out of him. I mean, I kinda blame Amy for this one. She did tell Sakurai to compliment the living hell out of Uzaki. Anyway, we're shown a flashback of Uzaki and Sakurai when they were younger. This whole scene is really sweet and wholesome, but it's unimportant to the message and I want to keep this review spoiler free, so I'll just skip it. So Sakurai wakes up right before the fireworks starts. Uzaki tells him not to get up because that would give him brain damage. I don't study biology. Sakurai realizes that Uzaki is back to being her sad and depressed version of herself. He tries to come up with a way to cheer Uzaki up again. He knows that if he tries to do the compliment thing again it would fail. You know, because he isn't one of those stupid protagonists in romance animes. So instead, he comes up with his own way of cheering Uzaki up. He talks to Uzaki about all the times they hung out and all the memories they made. Even though Uzaki can be a pain in the ass to him, the most important part is that he had fun. If it weren't for her, Sakurai would be wasting his time on playing games all by himself. This is the best moment of the entirety of Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. Not only is it a way to perfectly summarize what makes hanging out with Uzaki fun, but this scene also contains the main message of the anime. You don't need to be someone you aren't, be the person you're most comfortable being. Uzaki tried to be someone else. She stopped being energetic because she thought that would make Sakurai feel better. But that couldn't be further away from the truth. He prefers the true Uzaki. I feel that Sakurai even goes through a similar arc of being himself in this episode. When he tried to bring Uzaki back using Amy's way, it failed. However, when he tried to bring back Uzaki using his own methods, it succeeded. I don't know if that was intentional. Hell, I don't even know if the whole message was intentional. But either way, it's very powerful and inspiring. It's okay to be a loud and annoying girl. It's alright to be a full-fledged degenerate. It's alright to be flawed, because none of us are perfect, and that's what makes us special. The episode ends with Sakurai thinking to himself that he can't see the fireworks before accepting it as it is. What a beautiful way to end an episode. It kinda adds on to the message that even though Sakurai can't see the fireworks and although Uzaki isn't perfect, he accepts whatever he has and accepts Uzaki for who she truly is. I know this isn't the first media to have done this message. Heck, this isn't even the first romance anime with the message. Truth be told, The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten portrays this message better than Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. However, I prefer Uzaki's version of it since it's more subtle and obscure. Also, it's because The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten is a pretty bad anime. Like, why are the protagonists so boring and bland? But back to topic, for an anime so utterly bonkers like Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out, it feels so surprising and special that it has such a deep message. You don't have to pretend to be a better version of yourself, because the best version of yourself is you. So is Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out a masterpiece? Hell no, it's not even a contest. But like what I said earlier, you don't have to be perfect to leave an impact on someone. Uzaki-chan was the cause of my interest in romance animes. If it weren't for Uzaki-chan, I wouldn't have found other romance animes which are masterpieces, romance animes which I can shit on, and romance animes that are just wholesome and fun in general. And even though Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out isn't objectively good, I'm never bored watching it because I'm always glued to my screen, waiting to see what kind of goofy shit is gonna happen next. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 because why not? This means that Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out is 8 times better than Demon Slayer.
Good job!
I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but do give it a shot if you find it interesting. Maybe you'll enjoy it even more than I do, hell if I know. But there's one thing I know, this anime left a positive impact on me, and I couldn't be more grateful for that. So yeah, I'll continue to defend Uzaki-chan wants to hang out until the day the Grim Reaper comes after me. Thanks for watching, and good night Gensokyo. Also stop making those art where you fix Uzaki's design, it doesn't make you look cool. The grandpa doesn't have any fan art though, so it's all good man.